next have the keynote address. Chairman of FinCity.Tokyo, Mr. Hiroshi Nakaso, will be talking about the changes in Tokyo as a global financial city. So please welcome him with a round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hiroshi Nakaso. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today to participate in the 5th FinCity Global Forum. The theme of this year's FGF is the inflection point of international financial cities. The reason for the title Inflection Point is that the economic and financial environment surrounding the Japanese economy and international situation have reached an inflection point. And we at FinCity.Tokyo believe that the international financial city Tokyo concept we are promoting is also at a new stage of development. In light of this, today we would like to share with you the philosophy that underpins the concept and the direction we should aim for in the future based on this philosophy. So firstly, on this chart, let us look back on the steps the organization has took until today. FinCity.Tokyo was established in April of 2019 as Japan's first public-private financial promotion organization based on the global financial city concept compiled and published by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government in November of 2017. The number of members supporting the initiative has grown from, as shown on this page, large financial institutions, Tokyo Metropolitan Government, the JPX Group, real estate, industry association, venture companies, and universities. At the time of establishment, we had about 30 entities. Presently, there are 54. One of the functions of the FinCity.Tokyo is to analyze information gathered from dialogue with market participants and compile it into various policy recommendations as shown on this graph. The FCT has promoted institutional reforms and the development of the environment as a financial city by lobbying the government, relevant ministries and agencies, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government and other local authorities, as well as industry associations. As an example of the results, inheritance tax, which used to be a symbolic obstacle to foreigners entering the Japanese market and was even referred to as you can't die in Japan, was changed to exclude foreign assets from taxation under the 2021 tax code revision. In addition, with the aim of revitalizing the financial ecosystem, the government of Japan, in cooperation with the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, has been working since FY 2022 on a project to identify leading asset managers. Fintech companies and high-level financial personnel, and to attract them to Tokyo. And so far, the project has succeeded in attracting 5 asset managers and 10 fintech companies. International promotion was essentially our most important task. But for 2 years from 2020, we were unable to move due to COVID, unfortunately. Last year, when restrictions were lifted, as shown here, we conducted a week-long roadshow in New York in October. The CEO of Japan Stock Exchange Group, Mr. Yamaji, and the U.S. ambassador to Japan, Ambassador Emmanuel, were on site to support us. And the governor of Tokyo, Governor Koike, made a video speech to make an appeal about making inroads into Tokyo. And we worked together to promote the city as an international financial city. The main event, the forum, was attended by investors and the financial professionals, approximately 140 in all. And it was felt that interest in the Japanese economy and investment in Japan was higher than during the times of Abenomics. The attitude of foreign investors is also evident in their investment in Japanese equities. In addition to the recovery of the Japanese economy, expectations for stronger governance of Japanese companies backed by the TSE's request to take action to realize management that is conscious of the cost of capital and share prices have also contributed to the fact that, as shown here, what's shown in orange, the bar graph, under the Kishida administration from March to June of 2023, foreign investors continuously bought the stocks for 12 consecutive weeks for a cumulative total of 6.2 trillion yen. What is shown in blue, it exceeded the 5.7 trillion, which was during the Abenomics. Against this backdrop of the recovery of the Japanese economy, the long-standing policy of monetary easing has also reached an inflection point. And as shown on this page, we have shown Japan's CPI and the contributing factors. If you look at the red part circled in red solid lines, Japan's CPI, excluding fresh food, grew by 4.2% year-on-year in January last year, the highest growth in 41 years. By factor, the price increase contribution of energy, that's in blue, the contribution of that was large. And since then, the energy price declined, and so the growth rate itself declined. Price increases in goods have slowed down recently. What is shown in pink, the service prices has increased their contribution, and that's underpinning prices. The price increase was triggered by the unexpected exogenous factor of rising energy prices due to the war in Ukraine. That was unexpected, but the higher prices combined with the weakening of the yen as part of the effects of monetary easing paved the way for a high rate of wage increase. On this page, as shown with the graph, 2023, that's last year's overall rate of wage increases, including those of the small and medium-sized unions, was approximately 3.6%, the highest level since 1993. And as for Shunto, or Spring Labor Offensive, in 2024, in the context of moderate economic recovery, the labor shortage is expected to continue, and we expect a wage increase exceeding that of last year. The BOJ has long indicated that it would start normalizing monetary policy if it could foresee prices converging to its 2% stability target, accompanied by wage growth. In its January outlook report, BOJ stated that there's a probability of realizing such an outlook was gradually increasing. Looking at that report, they're saying that there is indeed a higher probability that this would materialize. I believe that the BOJ is already in the phase of assessing the appropriate timing to decide that the time is ripe to take steps toward normalization. For the first time in a long time, a return to a world with interest rates is on the horizon. However, this is not enough to return the Japanese economy to a sustainable growth path. Only by raising the rate of growth through higher productivity will there be more room for wages to rise. In other words, only through growth can a virtuous circle with distribution. Only through growth and distribution and a virtuous cycle could this be achieved. In this sense, growth strategies and structural reforms remain important policy issues. This page and this graph shows the necessity for a monetary reform. It's one example. In Japan, where there was no interest rate, investment returns have traditionally remained low compared to overseas. On the graph, the shadowed area in color shows growth in assets generated by investment returns on financial assets over the 20 years to 2022. In the United States, on the left-hand side, it increased by a factor of 2.4, and in the UK by a factor of 1.6, while in Japan it remained at 1.2. As a result, the overall growth rate of financial assets also remained relatively low in Japan. The revival of interest rates is now in the horizon, but the revival of interest rates has provided an opportunity for Japan's current and future generation to manage financial assets, to better manage their assets, to set in motion the virtuous cycle of growth and distribution. Under the Abe administration, the asset building nation concept was floated because of such an awareness. Last year in December, there was a plan for the realization of an asset building nation, which outlines the direction of specific reforms of the asset management industry and asset owners as a part of financial structure reforms. And therefore, today, we present some of the key points from our involvement in the formulation of the plan. I'd like to introduce several points from this. First of all, with regard to reforming the asset management industry, which we have actively promoted, it is necessary to develop growth capitalists, GCs, who provide funds to high-growth companies that will drive the growth of the Japanese economy. Looking at overseas examples, the role of GC is generally played by those with high skills, but very little track record, and therefore they only have a smaller AUM. These emerging asset managers, they are generally playing a role overseas. And as shown in the conceptual diagram on this page, venture capitalists often only invest in the lower left companies from inception to listing on the growth market. This is in the solid box in the bottom left. On the other hand, GCs continue to invest in companies after listing to support its growth, as indicated by the red dashed line. If necessary, they may also support a company's return to a growth trajectory once it has gone private. That is our awareness of their role. In Japan, companies are often listed with small market capitalizations, although they're accompanied by VCs until the company goes public. As major institutional investors generally do not seem to invest in companies with a market capitalization of less than 200 billion yen. Small and mid-cap stocks with a low enterprise value and liquidity are likely to be left behind, even if they have growth potential, resulting in a situation where it is difficult to increase the value of the company after listing. And this is what is prone to happen. In order to address these problems, the GC has an essential role to play as a player in discovering and accompanying the growth curve from growth market listing to prime market listing. However, the emerging asset management EM industry as a GC player has not developed well in Japan so far. The reason for this is that emerging asset managers have not been given an active role very often. Asset owners, such as major pension funds in Japan, do not pay much attention to emerging asset management business, which are small and they had very little room to enter. These companies have a very shallow track record. And in light of the above issues, the plan for the realization of an asset-building nation firstly focuses on two reforms as pillars of the asset management industry, as shown here: improving asset management capabilities and improving and strengthening governance and promoting entrance and competition in the asset management industry from Japan and abroad. So these are the two pillars which they have initially positioned. With regard to measures to promote new entrants, alongside the correction of barriers to entry and the creation of special zones for asset management, the Emerging Asset Manager Promotion Program, the so-called Japanese EMP, has been embraced. And specifically, the measures include the following. Specifically, the treatment of EMs from the perspective of improving investment returns will be included in the new asset owner principles, which are developed with the aim of setting out principal investment governance and risk management for asset owners, including pensions. The asset owner principles are expected as early as this summer. Secondly, request banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions to make use of EM. Third, that asset owners do not exclude EMs solely because they have a short track record and include them among candidate contractors. And fourthly, the public and private sectors work together to provide an entry list of EM track records, including data to facilitate screening and side-by-side comparison of EMs. And outsourcing of middle and back office operations for EMs and outsourcing of all management authority for emerging managers. These are the measures which have been listed. Through the above measures, it is hoped that a diverse range of emerging asset managers, both domestic and foreign, will expand their scope of activities from their base in Tokyo. The plan for the realization of an asset-building nation also calls for the creation of special zones for financial and asset management as part of the reform of asset management industry. This initiative aims to create an environment in which funds can be supplied to startups and other growth sectors by attracting overseas investment funds through the entry of new domestic and foreign financial and asset management companies and the expansion of their operations. It is reported that a package of measures which will include proactive initiatives of local authorities and support measures from the state is expected to be finalized by around June of this year. The original aim of the Global Finance Center in Tokyo was to become and as shown in the conceptual diagram here, to become an Asian financial and innovation hub for realizing a sustainable society. As in the title, Sustainable Finance. In other words, it's an advanced city of sustainable finance that contributes to the realization of a sustainable society. And toward realization, we expect that the momentum will be further increased. The special zone concept and the specific nature of this will be ironed out between the TMG and the government. But in terms of the bottom left, for example, agglomeration of asset management players, the plan is to encourage the entry of overseas asset management companies by avoiding double taxation and relaxing business registration requirements. Along the lines of the plan for promoting asset building outsourcing back office operations and introducing Japanese version of the EMP in line with the plan for a realization of an asset building nation is important. In terms of social challenges, that's the upper half of this chart. Decarbonization is a priority area as it requires a large amount of investment capital. In this case, support should be targeted at SMEs. Upper right, That is, we should be focusing on SMEs, which, unlike large companies, have difficulty creating a roadmap for decarbonization. They may have superior technology, but they may not have finance. So including these startup companies, SMEs, I believe, will be the target. That is how I feel. Improving access to the transition finance market and emissions trading market, and developing new financing instruments and markets such as loans secured by projects, including intellectual property, could be promoted by local and national governments in the context of the special zone concept, taking advantage of their respective positions. And one possible approach would be, for example, we believe that the special zone concept could accelerate this process, and there are other approaches which are conceivable. For example, TMG, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government, using its high credit rating as a bond issuer to issue bonds and use the funds raised to provide SMEs with the necessary funds for local carbon projects via regional financial institutions located in Tokyo. That would be an example. In any case, I hope that the government of Japan and Tokyo Metropolitan Government would fully exchange views with each other to create effective special zones. And if I were to add one more request to special zones, it would be the enhancement of urban functions that include entertainment, such as culture and the arts. Freeing Tokyo from the daytime stressful world of numbers and competition. That's the world of finance. The daytime financial center is very stressful. So to be liberated from that world, and in the nighttime, like Broadway in New York or West End in London, we hope that we could make it easier for people to enjoy the theater and enjoy after-dinner dining to relax. And I think it would be nice if Tokyo had that kind of function as well. I believe that the different ideas would materialize, as we have seen FinCity.Tokyo has been established 5 years ago, and it's been 5 years. The economic situation inside, as well as the world situations, has largely changed. The role of Tokyo should not be limited to not just soliciting overseas entities, but as an Asia financial innovation hub, it should hone its functions. That's an idea which we'd like to add. And this is the idea with which we have conducted our activities. The Japanese economy is such that after the burst of the bubble, for a long time, we were struggling. I think we have an opportunity to come out of that, to emerge out of that. We want to make sure that we seize this opportunity so that we could create a movement to growth path from the financial perspective. We want to enhance the function of the Tokyo International Financial Center, and we will work together with you to realize this. With this, I'd like to conclude my talk. Thank you very much for your kind attention.